Okay, welcome back to Wells Fargo. Here we are, continuing coverage of the Democratic National Convention from Philadelphia. Bill Clinton is about to speak here, and they're doing an introductory video, so you can check all that out as part of our live feed on rt.com/on-air. But we're also going to take you into the stands, so if you want to see what's going to be going on in the stands while he's speaking, get some reacts, stay tuned to this Periscope feed. We're walking currently through the halls. Still a lot of people lingering. Bill Clinton, not as much of a draw, I guess, as he used to be, but also has been a busy day so far. Earlier today, the roll call vote was taken, and that was the moment when Bernie Sanders supporters realized that it's not going to happen this year for him, and Hillary Clinton became the nominee. After that happened, however, they walked out and later held a sit-in, a silent sit-in, with they were gagging their mouth and various things like that in protest. And a few folks we've talked to, some of them are going to back Jill Stein, some backing Gary Johnson, and some are still not sure. So should be an interesting couple of days to see how folks evolve on that issue, going from Bernie supports to that. So we're entering now. And as you can see, there's the big video on the stage. And they've lowered the lights to a kind of blue wash, blue for Democrats, of course. And so it's all looking. They're handing out some posters here. I'm going to follow one of the volunteers down. These are the pre-made posters that are going to be flying high once Bill completes his speech. So here we can get a shot of everybody. You can see we're all in. A lot of America signs. That seems to be the main. Yeah, that's what they're handing out there. And here it comes. Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, from Arkansas, Hope, Arkansas. And let's see. There he comes. Oh, no, it's still not coming. Oh, there he is. Yep. And wearing the basic suit. Looking well, looking between his two sizes. He, of course, adopted a vegan diet after some heart issues. Lost a lot of weight. Speechwriter from MSNBC, CNN, and other folks are over there. These are their four positions. So we're going to perch right. Bill referring, of course, to her previous status as a Republican and a Goldwater girl. Sorry, just had to relocate there, folks. Should be stable now. And the Texas delegation, he's just checking off the list of states there with his references. Massachusetts weighing in on the cheering. A reference to Trump and the reporter that he supposedly mocked during an interview.
Chelsea was born just before midnight. And it was the greatest moment of my life. The miracle of a new beginning. The whole filled for me because my own father died before I was born. And the absolute conviction that my daughter had the best mother in the world. For the next 17 years, through nursery school, Montessori, kindergarten, through t-ball, softball, soccer, volleyball, and her passion for ballet, through sleepovers, summer camps, family vacations, and Chelsea's own very ambitious excursions. From Halloween parties in the neighborhood to a Viennese waltz gala in the White House. Hillary, first and foremost, is a mother. She became, as she often said, our family's designated worrier. Born with an extra responsibility gene. Truth is, we rarely disagreed on parenting, although she did believe that I had gone a little over the top when I took a couple of days off with Chelsea to watch all 6 Police Academy movies back to back. When Chelsea was 9 months old, I was defeated for re-election in the Reagan landslide. And I became overnight, I think, the youngest former governor in the history of the country. We only had 2-year terms back then. Hillary was great. Immediately she said, okay, what are we going to do? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a house, we're going to get a job, we're going to enjoy being Chelsea's parent. And if you really want to run it, you got to go out and talk to people.
Sorry, folks, re-recording there for a moment.
And show them you still got good ideas. I followed her advice. Within 2 days, we had a house. I soon had a job. We had 2 fabulous years in Chelsea. And in 1982, I became the first governor in the history of our state to be elected as leader in election. I think my experience is it's a pretty good thing to follow that advice.
And that's a cue to hold up the Changemaker signs, which have been held out to everyone, in addition to America signs. So he's on the message there.
This is a really important point for you to take out of this convention. If you believe in making change from the bottom up, if you believe the measure of change is how many people's lives are better, you know it's hard and some people think it's boring. Speeches like this are fun. Actually doing the work is hard. Some people say, well, we need to change. She's been around a long time. She sure has. And she's sure been worth every single year she's put into making people's lives better. I can tell you this. If you were sitting where I'm sitting, and you heard what I have heard at every dinner conversation, at every lunch conversation, on every long walk, you would say, this woman has never been satisfied with the status quo in anything. She always wants to move the ball forward. That is just who she is. When I became president, with a commitment to reform health care, Hillary was a natural to head the health care task force. You all know we failed because we couldn't break the Senate filibuster. Hillary immediately went to work on solving the problems the bill sought to address one by one. The most important goal was to get more children with health insurance. In 1997, on the way, for all of our differences, was an adopted parent, and she honored him for doing that. Now, the bill they worked on, which passed in an overwhelming bipartisan majority, led to a big increase in the adoption of children out of foster care, including non-infant kids and special needs kids. It made life better because she's a change maker. That's what she does. When you're doing all this, real life doesn't stop. 1997 was the year Chelsea finished high school and went to college. We were happy for her, but sad for us to see her go. I'll never forget moving her into her dorm room in Stanford. It would have been a great little reality flick. There I was in a trance suit, staring out the window, trying not to cry. And there was Hillary on her hands and knees, desperately looking for one more drawer to put that liner paper in. Finally, Chelsea took charge and told us ever so gently that it was time for us to go. So we closed a big chapter in the most important work of our lives. As you'll see Thursday night when Chelsea speaks, Hillary's done a pretty fine job. And as you saw last night, beyond a shadow of a doubt, so has Michelle Obama.
Huge ovation for Michelle Obama, possibly in anticipation of a run someday.
Congressman Charlie Rangel and other New York Democrats urged Hillary
There's the New York delegation cheering. Charlie Rangel is among them.
to run for the seat of retiring Senator Pat Moynihan. We'd always intended to go to New York after I left office to commute to Arkansas, but this had never occurred to either one of us. Hillary had never run for office before, but she decided to give it a try. She entered the campaign the way she always does these things, by listening and learning. And after a tough battle, New York elected her to the seat
And history signs are now being passed out.
President Obama in 2008, she worked for his election hard, but she hesitated to say yes when he asked her to join his cabinet because she so loved being a senator. So, like me in a different context, he had to keep asking. But as we all saw and heard from Madeline Albright, it was worth the effort and worth the wait. The Secretary of State, she worked hard to get strong sanctions against Iran's nuclear program, and in what the Wall Street Journal no less called a half-court shot at the buzzer, she got Russia and China to support her. Her team negotiated a new START treaty with Russia to reduce nuclear weapons and reestablish inspections. And she got enough Republican support to get two-thirds of the Senate the vote necessary to ratify the treaty. She flew all night long from Cambodia to the Middle East to get a ceasefire that would avoid a full-out shooting war between between Hamas and Israel in Gaza, to protect the peace of the region. She backed President Obama's decision to go after Osama bin Laden. She launched a team. This is really important today. She launched a team to fight back against terrorists online and built a new global counterterrorism effort. We've got to win this battle in the mind field. She put climate change at the center of our foreign policy. She negotiated the first agreement ever, where China and India officially committed to reduce their emissions. And as she had been doing since she went to Beijing in 1995 and said women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights, she worked to empower women and girls around the world and to make the same exact declaration on behalf of the LGBT community in America and around the world.
A reference there to the LGBT community, even though both Bill and Hillary supported the Defense of Marriage Act back in the 90s. So they have changed on that issue, or some would say flip-flop.
Nobody ever talks about this, but it's important to me. See, triple the number of people with AIDS in poor countries whose lives are being saved with your tax dollars, most of them in Africa, going from 1.7 million lives to 5.1 million lives, and it didn't cost you any more money. She just bought available, FDA-approved generic drugs, something we need to do for the American people more. Yeah. You don't know any of these people. You don't know any of those 3.4 million people, but I'll guarantee you they know you. They know you because they see you. You're thinking their lives matter. They know you. And that's one reason the approval of the United States was 20 points higher when she left the Secretary of State's office and when she took it. Yeah. How does this square? How does this square with the things that you heard as a Republican? What's the difference in what I told you and what they said? How do you square it? You can't. One is real, the other is made up.
A lot of Democrats rising to their feet on that one.
The real one had done more positive change making before she was 30 than many public officials do in a lifetime in office. The real one, if you saw her friend Betsy Eveling vote for Illinois to
And that got them on their feet there. They're shouting Hillary, Hillary. And he's trying to keep it tight here, trying to keep it tight.
I have lived a long, full, blessed life. It really took off when I met and fell in love with that girl in the spring of 1971. When I was president, I worked hard to give you more peace and shared prosperity. To give you an America where nobody is invisible or counted out. But for this time, Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known. You could drop her into any trouble spot. Pick one. Come back in a month, and somehow, some way, she will have made it better. That is just who she is. There are clear, achievable, affordable responses to our challenges. But we won't get to them if America makes the wrong choice in this election. That's why you should elect her. And you should elect her because she'll never quit when the going gets tough. She'll never quit on you. She sent me in this primary to West Virginia where she knew we were going to lose. To look those coal miners in the eye and say, I'm down here because Hillary sent me to tell you that if you really think you can get the economy back you had 50 years ago, have at it, go wherever you want to. But if she wins, she is coming back for you to take you along on the ride to America's future.
A reference to her mixed record on coal. Some support for coal as a bridge fuel, but also in contrast to Trump, where last week they said Trump digs coal.
You love this country, you're working hard, you're paying taxes, you're obeying the law, and you'd like to become a citizen, you should choose immigration reform over somebody who wants to send you back. If you're a Muslim and you love America and freedom and you hate terror, stay here and help us win and make the future together. If you're a young African American disillusioned and afraid, we saw in Dallas how great our police officers can be. Help us build a future where nobody's afraid to walk outside, including the people who wear blue to protect our future. Hillary will make us stronger together. You know it because you spent a lifetime doing it. I hope you will do it. I hope you will elect her. Those of us who have more yesterdays than tomorrow tend to care more about our children and grandchildren. Believe me, you should elect her. We've been in the greatest country on earth. We have always been about tomorrow. Your children and grandchildren will bless you forever if you do. God bless you. Thank you.
So there you have it, a speech on Bill Clinton. Lots of storytelling, lots of humor. Typical Bill Clinton style. The crowd seemed to eat it up. As we'll pan and tilt here and show folks. And speaking of West Virginia, playing a little West Virginia musician there. Lovely day. Although if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, you probably would not agree with that sentiment. Similar to the song played earlier, Happy by Pharrell Williams, which was playing as many Bernie supporters were tearing up and crying. Now you can see maybe the history signs there that have been brought out, referring to, and here's Elizabeth Banks again. Another fundraising plug as they remove the podium and set up a piano and band. Looks like we're due for some music. Here we go. And as this video rolls, we await some musicians. Alicia Keys, Meryl Streep will be coming out, and supposedly some surprises. But that was Bill Clinton's big speech. So that was the big speech of the night. Now we're due for some entertainment here. Mel and Albright speaking earlier, and both of them reflecting on their experience with Hillary Clinton over the years. Now, of course, they didn't mention Whitewater, the bombing of the Balkans, or many of the other controversial things they were all involved in. But certainly Bill Clinton's speech hit the sentiment notes and the family notes. And again, the crowd seemed to love that. Not any Bernie supporters really shouting. I think they're either outside or they've been converted. So because very few Bernie signs are left. There's one right here, and it's kind of sadly hanging by one tiny thread, so to speak, about to fall, much like the progressive movement that Bernie built himself. And some Jane Fonda, and a number of musicians and artists. So let's move out maybe and see if we can talk to some folks and get reaction on Bill Clinton's speech, of course. That was the big speech of all. If you have any questions, hit us in the comment section. Got about 200 of us on. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Of course, if you want to see the raw feed of this convention, you can just go to rt.com/on-air, and that'll get you. But let's go find some folks and see if we can talk to some people who aren't necessarily into enjoying this song here. Few people are into it, but others have left their seats, scrambling for the exits. And it's been a long day. Apparently the buses weren't working yesterday. Folks had to wait 2.5 hours in the heat, and a few other kind of bumps along the road. Not the smoothest convention logistically, but and if you're a Bernie supporter, definitely not the convention outcome you wanted. But we're nearly halfway through of the week. Got 2 more days left. Tomorrow, big speaker, of course, will be Barack Obama. He'll be brought in. And Tim Kaine will also speak, the VP nominee. And then Thursday will be all about Hillary Clinton. So just setting up the tripod here. Got a nice shot. See if we can find folks who we can interview. Let's see if there's anybody. Everybody's kind of focused on their phones here, tweeting and everything. You may notice, of course, with the periscope even, it's themed to the convention. There is the odd donkey coming up with the hearts. That, of course, is the symbol of the Democratic Party, for those watching who aren't familiar with that. And also earlier when we were live streaming the roll call, I noticed there were some questions about exactly what was going on tonight. Some folks thought tonight was the actual election, or they were electing a party leader, which is much more typical in parliamentary politics. Of course, in this case, they're just nominating their candidate for president. The election is in November. It'll be on a Tuesday the 8th. And also the party leader, that got a little bit little fuzzy this week because Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to step down as the head of the DNC. Donna Brazil, the former campaign manager for Al Gore in 2000, she's now the interim DNC chair. And the roll call, which is often done by the chair, today was done by the secretary of the DNC. So some odd events. If they're talking about making history, that certainly made history. First time the chair of the party had to resign the week of the convention. But of course, the history signs that they've been passing out and the history references they're making are to the fact that Hillary is the first woman to be nominated as a Democrat, and they also hope she'll be the first woman elected as president. Now, of course, the history signs and her slogan "I'm with her" doesn't acknowledge that there are two women in this race, Jill Stein from the Green Party as well. So just a view of some folks walking by here, and we'll see if we can grab some people, see if anybody's kind of up for talking. Everybody's kind of hustling on, but let's see if we can. Any questions there out there? Anybody about the process? Wondering kind of what we're looking at for the next 2 days, no. So let's see if these are real. Hi, sorry, you available to speak on a live webcast? No? All right. Nobody there yet. See if there's anybody. Yeah, folks are again a long day, and most of the Bernie supporters are gone or possibly arrested. No. Let's see if there's still. How are you, sir? How are you? Got a few bums? No, you gotta go. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, I understand. So. Let's see if we got anybody else here. Looks like a journalist. They're in a hurry. Let's maybe move through the hall and maybe see what's doing, and we'll get some sights of everything. So this is the Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's the basketball stadium of the Philadelphia 76ers and the hockey team, the Philadelphia Flyers, normally. And today it's also. Or this week, it's also where they're having the Democratic Convention. It's on the south side of Philly, so quite a bit out of city center. So there's been a lot of folks kind of getting back and forth. There's a whole Uber drop-off system, although apparently Lyft has been shut out of the process, so they're having more trouble. So a little brand controversy there that we learned last night from the Lyft driver. But yeah, this is still a festive atmosphere. Not quite as crowded as it was earlier when you had twice as many folks in here, also known as Bernie supporters. But this is a party divided in many ways this year. Even though the theme tonight is Stronger Together, it is not clear if that is the case, and it is not clear if this divide is going to lead to a loss in November against Donald Trump. So just walking through. Any other questions from folks? Getting a good view of everything here, seeing what things are like. If you want to watch the festivities, of course, go ahead and tune into rt.com/onair. And we've got the DNC feed going through there. Meryl Streep is speaking right now, actress, and Alicia Keys will be performing in just a moment. Let's see. So folks are kind of... Probably best we're going to look for people who are lingering, because the people who are walking fast tend to be heading home for the most part. There you go. There you see Meryl Streep. Let's see. Hi, how are you? We're doing a live webcast. You got a moment to speak with us? It's going out right now on Periscope on Twitter. All right. Great. All right. Sounds good. So first of all, tell us your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Deneen Whitaker. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Hey, all right. Nice shirt then. All right. Very good. Absolutely. So you've got a Stop TPP button on there. So that's been a big issue, and certainly that's one that early on was Bernie's issue, and Hillary kind of adopted it. So were you a Bernie supporter early on?
Well, I've been a Hillary supporter from day one, but I like Bernie Sanders, of course. He's a Democrat. He had a lot of great issues that I think really fired up the base and fired up the people. So very proud of Bernie Sanders, but I've been a Hillary supporter from pretty much day one.
And speaking of trade issues that affected Detroit, NAFTA, of course, was passed by Bill Clinton, who we heard from just a few moments ago, and Hillary Clinton was a big supporter of that trade deal. Why do you think she's evolved on that issue, and do you think she's committed to bringing back the American jobs that were lost with those trade deals, that and the China WTO deal that they pushed through as well?
Yeah, I think she's evolved on that issue because I think back then when President Clinton did put that issue through, I think he thought at the time, and Hillary thought at the time, that it was going to be a good thing for Michigan in particular, where I'm from, and for the country. I think she's evolved because she's seen now that it has hurt jobs, especially in Michigan, and I think she wants to make change in that issue. That is a really big issue from where I'm from, NAFTA. A lot of people in Michigan really want to get rid of that. So I think Hillary will, if we can get her in there, she'll do the job to try to change that.
And then also Detroit and Flint as well are struggling with the takeover, essentially, of their city governments by the Republicans and city managers. Do you think that the Obama administration and Democrats have done enough to kind of defend Michigan from that hostile takeover, and even with the water issue in Flint? Like when Obama went to Flint, do you think that was a good enough response, or do you think the Democrats could be doing more on that?
Well, I think the Flint issue is a very sensitive issue, a very tough issue. I think it was great that Obama did go there. I think that is a start in terms of the federal government doing something. I think, much of the blame, though, goes on our Republican governor of the state of Michigan. I mean, he really let the people of Flint down, let the people of Michigan down as him being the governor. I really blame him for this issue because it didn't have to happen. So, no, I don't put the blame squarely on President Obama. I think we can all work together to help the people of Flint, to help the people of Michigan. But it really was a state issue that our governor really should have protected the people of Flint, and he didn't do that. So I put the blame squarely on the Republicans and on Governor Snyder.
Very good. And what else are you looking for? Of course, Obama, speaking of, is speaking tomorrow night, and then Kane as well. What else are you looking for this week?
I'm just looking forward to seeing Hillary accept the nomination. I'm very proud of President Obama. I think he will tomorrow bring the party together. I think we're really going to miss him. I think he's been a great president. I think Hillary will pick up the banner and do a lot of things that he wasn't able to do because of the gridlock in Congress and the obstruction, I think, in Congress. So I'm just looking forward to the party even coming together even more with what the president is going to say tomorrow, and then Thursday with Hillary coming out and being the first female nominee to accept the presidency of the United States. So I think it's very exciting.
Right. And finally there, before Bernie kind of endorsed Clinton there, he was doing better against Trump in the polls, and we see now that Clinton's trailing a little bit. Do you think that actually she is the spoiler candidate and that Bernie had a better chance? And is that going to be an uphill struggle?
No, I really don't think that Bernie had the better chance. I know he had, about 45% of the vote. He has some really, really strong supporters out there. But I really do think Hillary was the better choice in terms of winning against Trump in November. I really, really do. The Bernie Sanders supporters, I take my hats off to them. But really in the beginning, I've always felt like Hillary was the one to be able to beat Trump. I think she's very strong. I think she's tough. She doesn't give up. I don't think she's afraid of Trump. And I'm looking forward to her debating him. So I think the Democratic Party made the right choice by nominating her.
Well, very good. Thanks so much, and have a good week. Take care. So there you have it. Some feedback from Michigan. Somebody who was a longtime Clinton supporter, but also liked Bernie as well. Different than what the DNC emails had to say about Bernie, of course. Many of them disparaged him, and that is what led, of course, to the resignation of the DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and an apology from the DNC to the Bernie Sanders campaign, although for his supporters, that was too little too late because it did not equal a nomination. And as Jill Stein said yesterday at her rally and in an RT interview, that they basically they didn't just say a few bad things, they sabotaged the revolution. So just walking out through here. Any questions from folks? We still got a few hundred folks on the line here, and thanks everybody for being with us. Nearly done on the stage there, but if you do want to watch Alicia Keys and the performances that are going on right now, you can go ahead and go to rt.com/onair. But stick with us. We're going to talk to a few more folks here before we wrap up for the night and get ready for tomorrow, the big arrival of President Barack Obama. Let's see if we can find some folks. Here's a woman. She's watching. Let's see if she's available here. Hi, ma'am. Are you available to talk to us? We're doing a live webcast here. Oh, okay. Thank you. No worries yet. So we got to pass on that. And so some folks are quite shy, so it's a little tough to get them to talk. Others are in a hurry, rushing to get home. So do what we can here and find out. Lots of celebrities here, far more than the Republicans. No Duck Dynasties, more the types of, last night we saw Sarah Silverman, and tonight saw Rosario Dawson walk by. She was, again, a longtime Bernie supporter. And on the stage right now, Meryl Streep, Elizabeth Banks introduced them, and Alicia Keys singing. So we're going to try and find some folks who are just kind of milling around, taking a rest. That's usually the best type to find. And again, if you have any questions, drop us a line. Here we go. All right, folks, you mind if we do a quick? We're doing an interview on a webcast here on Periscope. Do a quick? Great, all right. So great. So you've got, let's just get a shot of your T-shirts first and your buttons. So let us know your name and where you're from.
My name's Derek Evans. I'm from St. Joseph, Missouri.
And I'm Andrea Cole. I'm also from St. Joseph, Missouri.
Very good, Missouri. So you're wearing Black Lives Matter's T-shirts as well as Bernie buttons. So are you disappointed by today's results in the roll call?
I mean, it was expected, so I've been tempered because we knew it was coming. So, I mean, ultimately disappointed, absolutely, but there's plenty of work to be done, so we're going to put that work in. And we've got things to do between now and November 8th, and between now and 2018 and 2020 and beyond. So
you're backing Clinton then at this point, are you?
That might be a stretch to say that. For me personally, what I've told folks is I'm probably going to check the box, and going to work really hard to get down ballot progressive candidates elected in November.
And yourself, are you now all for Hill? You're with her, so to speak, her being the Democrat female who's running, not the Green female who's running.
Well, I still feel I'm the Bernie delegate until the end of this convention, until the last day, and I've been elected by my congressional district back home. So I'm still with Bernie. I know what happened, but I'm still here throughout. I have work to do throughout this week, and I want to represent him well. And what I do in November right now, I haven't even wanted to start focusing on that, and because when you work for somebody so hard for a year and you put all and your heart and soul, and you really become attached to his message and truly believe because it's the core of your political beliefs, it's hard. You just can't snap out of it just like that, and especially when it's all coming at you. When he did what he did, you freeze and you are swallowed in a sea of cheers when in your heart he's a better candidate, and so it's hard. So I just can't bring myself yet to say yes I am. I'm leaning that way, but just give me some time to process, and I'll get there eventually.
Have either of you been kind of disillusioned by the Democratic Party specifically? You mentioned helping progressive candidates, but are you? Has your allegiance to the Democrats been tested by this whole process?
Here's the thing is, up until this election, I've always identified as an independent who's always voted Democrat. I would love to get involved. And the great thing is, in Missouri, there are a number of progressive candidates who have been encouraging us to get involved and change the party from the inside. Senator Sanders made the decision to do that, and he did very, very well. I think we could follow his lead. I think if he has faith that the system can be changed in some respect, then we can put our efforts in making that change. So I don't know if I've been disillusioned as much as I've always been critical in the first place. I think there's a lot that needs to change. I would love to see open primaries. I would love to see the establishment Democrats embrace and bring in and not be snarky and not be dismissive of the efforts and the energy and the passion that the Sanders campaign has brought to young voters and bring them into the party. But they're going to have to give them a reason to support the party, and that reason can't simply be to vote against Trump. They have to stand for something. And Bernie has done a good job at bringing Clinton to the left, bringing the party a little further to the left, making it more progressive. But we're going to have to see some action. We're going to have to see the Democratic Party put their money where their mouth is. And then that opens up the door for young people to get involved and support the Democratic Party again.
Final question. There was a Bernie or Bust rally today in town, and they were encouraging folks to switch allegiances to Jill Stein. Is that somebody either of you have considered? Certainly, as an independent, is that somebody you would consider?
She is currently not on the ballot in Missouri. She's not gotten enough signatures to be on the ballot. There are a number of things I support. Her policy and her platforms are pretty close in line with mine, just like Andrea said. So it's always an option on the table.
Would you collect signatures for her to get her on the ballot?
Well, at this point, signatures need to be collected by April 1st. We are doing August 1st, I'm sorry. So in my hometown, Andrea and I and a number of other folks are doing some things. And as soon as we get back on Sunday, we've got some things that we need to do. So we're not going to have time to do it anyway. So good luck to the ones that do. Even as somebody who votes Democrat and who is a delegate for the Democratic Party, I also think it's good for democracy. It's good when we have opposing viewpoints, when we have options in the voting booth. And I wish Jill Stein the best.
And how about yourself? Is Jill Stein somebody, if she was to get on the ballot in Missouri, somebody you'd consider voting for in November?
I think that she is strong on a lot of beliefs that I have. She's in line with a lot of my beliefs. Here's the thing: if we were in a political system where we had a stronger third party to make it. Right now we are in a very rigid two-party system, and unfortunately that's our reality. And I am very concerned of Trump being our president. He's dangerous and he's a demagogue. He has fascist elements. Like he would just be detrimental to our future. And unfortunately, in order to defeat him, you have to use the power of the other party to do that. If you vote third party, it does split the vote, and it gives him more opportunity to be our next president. So it's hard, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because here's someone who's in line with your beliefs, but on the other hand, if you vote for that person, then you're giving your vote away to Trump in a sense. But yeah, so there's several months ahead, until November. So just in the interim, we're working for the progressives and independents leaning left in Missouri, and if she's on the ballot, we'll see. But
well, thanks for talking with us, and have a good rest of the week, as good as it can be, as Bernie supporters. Thank you. Take care. So there you have it, some Bernie supporters, Black Lives Matters supporters from Missouri, and mixed emotions. They would not go as far as saying they are supporting Clinton, but it also looks like they need a bit of a timeout, because it's been a long, long year for many of them supporting a candidate who ultimately did not make it, despite some huge crowds and some huge fundraising, record fundraising. He actually broke Obama's record for individual fundraising, and yet that was not enough to get him across the line. Just walking past Talk Show Row here, not super busy at night, but this is where all the radio talk shows, conservative, liberal, center, will do their programs. You see BBC is here, CBS, the Young Turks are over here as well. Fox News would be over here. This is where Hannity would record his radio show. Interesting place, particularly during the day. There's a lot going on here, and so we'll bring you by there tomorrow. That is Marcia Fudge right now speaking, as you can see. She is the kind of temporary person, and she just called the recess. she is filling in the role that Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Oh, and she forgot to gavel. In fairness to her, again, she was not planning on doing this service. Marcia Fudge, Congresswoman from Ohio. So with that, they have gavelled, so maybe we can gavel as well. Hit the gavel on this live Periscope for now. And we'll be back tomorrow. Ongoing coverage. Keep a lookout on all of our Twitter feed, Facebook feed, and RT.com for the latest updates. And we're bringing you the unconventional coverage of the Democratic National Convention. Good night from Philly.